We are back for the second segment of Trips and Traps. We're going to move to the end of the week. We're going to do a race from the 12th and 2 races from the 13th, and we'll start right away with a race from the 12th. The 5th race, it was a maiden race on the turf for 2-year-old fillies.
One horse that caught my attention even before the race was run was before the race was run was Warm Shower, first-time starter for the Angel Pennant Barn. We're going to see Warm Shower here. Not break all that great. Number 6 horse come off 3rd from last out of the field. They paid $700,000 for this daughter of Dynaforma, so obviously a good pedigree here. Her first start on the turf, but it gets to be an eventful one.
Yeah, she just seems to have some trouble at different points in the race, and I was never extreme trouble. What was interesting to me was she was caught in traffic, and you have to just keep your eye on her, while the winner had a perfect trip in this race. And in looking through it, she was the only one I could really see that seemed to have some trouble. This was a horse that Angel Pennant entered starting early at Saratoga, and seemed like she got rained off the turf as much, if not more, than anybody in a pretty rain-filled summer.
Yeah, it's an excellent horse that has excellent breeding, and you got to give a lot of respect to Angel Pennant here. You can see Warm Shower now basically just barely on the screen down to the inside, and last now actually off the screen here. But you're right, Andy, you know what, for the most part, I thought this was a fairly run race. I thought the pace was fair. I didn't think there was a whole ton of trouble in here except for the little events that Warm Shower is going to get in throughout most of the running of the race.
Yeah, and of course Strike the Bell, number 4, who ended up, I think, the favorite, and a horse that I had liked and had a troubled trip, had the absolute perfect trip of the century, moved through here in the turn like going to win for fun, and she had nothing here. And if you're watching Warm Shower, she's having trouble. We can't really see it because we seem to have stopped the race, but there we go again. There she is between horses again, and she gets stopped a little bit in here as she's trying to rally. Now it's not there, but there she gets stopped again, costs her a length or so. She drops back towards the inside, and this is a first-time starter, and she runs a very professional race with some trouble for a first-time starting 2-year-old.
Yeah, she does, and she's in behind horses here. Still has to deal with some issues of maybe not having a seam to run through here. It doesn't seem like it's really that clear. She does manage to split horses there and come through with a good finish. But on the outside, Fast Tigress might have had a little bit of a head start in her. But really, Warm Shower rallies well through the stretch here. Clearly a horse that probably improve off of this race.
Yeah, and look, we know we're not pointing out a horse that's going to be a huge price next time. She's going to be a favorite, and she's probably going to win. But Warm Shower is the name of a 2-year-old filly you want to remember, and I am not going to be surprised when we get down to Florida next winter and then we come up into the spring and summer. Warm Shower might be one of the better 3-year-old fillies on the turf.
See if maybe they point for the Garden City or Queen Elizabeth later.
Everybody's pointing for the Garden City. There's 300 horses pointing for the Garden City and the Queen Elizabeth. Warm Shower very well could be one of them.
All right, we'll take a look at our next race now. This was a maiden special weight on the dirt for a 2-year-old fillies run on October 13th. It was race number 2. We're going to take a look at the one-horse Jamili, who does not get out of the gate all that well, and pretty much has her chances affected from this point.
Yeah, she was a first-time star. The winner of this race, the horse in the lead, was 3 or 4 to 5 in here. Jamili took a lot of money. She ended up about 5 to 1, but the double was very low with her. And this was a first-time star. Bill Mott, Zayat, his numbers the last year, he hasn't won with a dirt first-time starting 2-year-old in over a year, I think since Saratoga. And all things considered, Near Jamili is making a nice move to get herself in the race. And she seems to get back into the race, and you wonder what would have happened if she maybe didn't have the inside or maybe broke cleanly. It would have been a different run race. It was a very slow pace the winner got away with here, and I thought that affected the outcome as much as anything.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the winner was probably best in here regardless of pace, but still, you're right, horses like Jamili who are in behind, the horses that are going to get some dirt kicked up in their face first time out. When the pace is slow, they're a little bunched up like that. It probably affects a horse like Jamili. What'd you think of Jamili in the stretch here, Andy? I didn't really know what to do with this. I thought, being down inside might have compromised her a little bit, but it seems like she has enough room there to finish up, and she didn't really finish up all that great in it.
No, she didn't. There's no question about it. But you watch it here. I think Javier Castellano rode her, realized on the turn that she was pretty much empty, and he did not kill her as he shouldn't have to try to finish a little closer or something. She finished where she was, and I know there's a big gap between the winner and her, but that's one of the reasons I show it. I mean, she loses by 12, 13 lengths easily in this race. Jamili's a better horse than that. I'm not saying she's ready to beat the winner if they met the next time they run, but I'm not going to be surprised when she runs dramatically improved. She gets out of the gate next time out, and I just think she's the kind of horse that benefited a lot from her first start, and it will look like a worse performance on paper than it actually was.
All right, the next race we'll take a look at is the Pebbles from October 13th, race number 8, 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the Widener turf course.
Yeah, and this is an interesting race. It's funny, we're going to start out by showing MOUSSE au Chocolat, who of course doesn't break well, and this is the second of 3 times she's run the country and that she has not broken well. And a European, you have to remember, they don't have a bell in the gate over there, and that's why we see a lot of Euros get left here. Now, very quickly, she regathers herself and moves up in position, but you know, she already sort of spotted the field so much. You know, I don't know exactly what to do with her, to be honest, and we'll get to her later in the race. I have a feeling she was very good in Europe, and she may never find her European form over here.
Yeah, I agree. The way the race is run here might be playing against her a little bit here. She did make that move down the backstretch to, you know, get kind of in contention, but I didn't think it was that sharp a move where she really had to expend that much energy. She kind of did it on her own. She does have a trouble line in the chart here, so this horse is going to take some money off that trouble line here. But as we'll see a little bit later on, I don't really think she was blocked too badly in the stretch. It seems like things kind of parted nicely for her. She's going to have some room to go through. The other horse that we're interested in taking a look at out of this race is the 3 BLITZEN 2, who's in about, I would say, 5th or 6th right now, in between horses in the yellow and the reddish or maroonish kind of cap. You can see, yeah, you can see number 3 BLITZEN 2 a little bit better now. BLITZEN 2 is really going to have some traffic trouble here throughout the stretch run, and I thought once she got a little bit clear late, she finished up very well.
Yeah, and she was blind switched 2 or 3 times every time she tried to make a move in the stretch. And these races, especially with a big field, trips are everything. And the horses that get the good trips are the ones that end up doing better. And here's BLITZEN 2. You see her sort of behind horses, and you'll just watch her. We'll just continue it on, and you'll watch her yourself, and you will see her get, every time she tries to get the outside and make a move, somebody else appears outside on her flank and goes by her, and she's never able to get clear. And to me, if she had gotten a good trip and gotten clear, she would have won this race and should have won this race. But once again, you get the big field. These are races you could run them 10 times and get 8 to 10 different winners. But I agree, MOUSSE CHOCOLAT is clear on the inside. She wouldn't have been one of those winners. I just don't think she ran well.
No, I mean, she looks like she was in a perfect spot to win the race at the mid-stretch, and about 4 or 5 horses went by her on the outside. So I would be betting against her next time out as well.
I agree. She's unfortunately just been a disappointment. Disappointment to me because I've used her in all her races, so I've been disappointed as much as anybody. Anyway, that does it for this week's Trips and Traps. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, of course. And once again, remember the email, tripsandtraps@nairainc.com. Keep the thoughts coming. We'll try to show the races and keep watching.